Aloha, everybody. I'm about to go into my self-care ritual, which contains, move, bitch, get out of the way, which contains, an act of yoni steaming. And there's a process that I do in my yoni steaming that involves release and, I just chose to walk to the store with my son today. I could have ridden in a car, but I needed to go to double banks and pay rent and do all that stuff that for some reason is custom on our planet at this time, where we're the only species that pays to live here. But I had a lot of revelations along the way. So I'm actually going to break up these revelations into smaller videos, and I can expand upon anything if you'd like. But I mean, I'm actually very smart. I wouldn't say that I was perfect, or maybe I am a genius, who knows. And the things that were occurring to me as I was going to the store first started with the idea of, or the concept of, vibration and sound. The fact that we're bodies of water, the fact that we resonate with our molecules, salts, metals, all these things within our body constitute us at this time. It's a very complex and working system, but there's levels to it, right? The vibrations are easy to extend, especially through liquid, right? Very thick, dense material, because there is still some movement within that. And water attracts itself. So if you have water within a system and it's a humid day, you become dehydrated faster, plants will dry, all these things happen. Unless you're in soil, and even to a certain extent, the water can wick out of the top layers of soil. So our vibrations are very sticky. The vibration of fear, which has become commonplace and put under direct pressure by our system, is actually is easy to manipulate. So the war that we're under right now is the ability to recognize that we are more than just physical body. Now, we have science, which we have replaced God with. Now, I want you to understand why I'm using science and the word God. There's several different religions, there's several different spaces to it. But the fact that human is conscious and able to connect with another human and have this energetic exchange allows for communication. The need and the act and the being of communication within our being, within plants beings, within animal beings, is super complex in the fact that it's a way of interpreting reality, right? Reality. So in the spaces in between, this is a very cosmic conversation. So if it gets too dense or if it gets too fluffy, there's going to be pieces that you're going to pick up, and it'll be in your subconscious, whether you know it or not. Okay, so back to vibration. The vibration of fear has been instilled through movies and art, but now we're actually being put under a force of tyranny. Now, our powers that be, even the algorithms, have told you, look out for extreme behavior. Why is that? Because they do not want us to have a conversation that empowers us to move away from the old paradigm system that has fear as a basis. Now, fear as a basis is why it's the art of propaganda. The propaganda that from the powers that be, right, are not truly powers, because science did not create us. We created science to explain our world. So using science as a justification for coercion and suppression is obsolete within itself. It's redundant. And the people are awakening to the redundancy. But what do we do about it? We need to actually slow down and resonate with ourselves. Find out what's true for yourself. Now, a lot of us are going through the humdrum of having to survive, whereas our planet has actually provided enough resources for us to provide. We've decided to allocate or give out those resources selectively. Now, this is also a fallacy, right? And we're also being thrown into chaos so that we do not actually show our own power. The wind shows us that we ourselves have power. The idea, conspiracy itself, means to breathe together. Wind, right? To share ideas. So if you think that you have what I'm saying is conspiracy, then you're not actually looking. Well, yeah, I guess it is, in a sense, because that's the definition of, when you look up the root words, conspire, con together or with, spire, breathe, air. I'm seeding ideas to you using my lungs through this little wet flap that is speaking a language to you so you understand. That is in itself breath, the breathing out. So when I share these ideas to you, you may call me conspiracist. Conspiracist, that's not even a real word, is it? I don't know. I've been playing these word games and I am totally failing. Side note. Anyway, the point is staying slowed down, focused, deliberate in our expression, our choices. One good habit is to go local in terms of your food, your connections, your friendships, your development, your understanding of the world. Yes, we're buying all these resources and trading because we have access, but are we exploiting? Now, we can't tell because we're so far removed from the farmer and the land, whether we're exploiting the earth. You know, the Dust Bowl and all those things, that happened because we weren't using indigenous practices which had been studied for thousands of years and how to actually harmonize with the environment that they were in. We developed agriculture so that we could have a surplus of food and appreciate and cultivate the abundance of the planet that we're living on. Our planet is living. We are living. The idea of escaping the planet and retaining life is silly, because I guess it depends on if you're in a state of fight or flight. Now, part of what my belief system and my observations have understand is that we've been hijacked with my physical disability, right? And my mother having been in the military. Our birth has been hijacked. Our ideas, our consciousness has been hijacked from the moment of preconception. Now, this is going to go deep because I have studied conscious conception. I have studied the reawakening of the gods, right? The coming of heaven on earth. And this is the time period. This is the shifting. This is where we have the ability to greatly ascend or descent into madness, right? So we look at our outside structure, our media, and depending on how the algorithms go, this may or may not reach you. This may or may not reach most, but you can share this if you want. You can share the pieces that mean something to you and, chop it up. There's all kinds of apps. Don't worry about it. The fact that our media is pumping us full of fear, and it started with the beginning of this virus, right? Now, when you look at the nature of viruses, this is a novel virus, which means it's new, which means it has a lot of variability, or chances for variability. Once you isolate something, and then it has the opportunity to evolve within the host or redesign itself and restructure within the host, because that's what happens with us. That's how cancers are formed. Our system is no longer being able to fully function and produce and reproduce as it normally does because we've overloaded it with toxins and all of these things. They're not actually promoting our bodies living at our optimum level, our bodies staying in with healthy immune systems. They're actually saying, sit down, be sedentary, which lowers the immune system. They're saying, eat comfort foods, eat all this. You need to, because that's our automatic. We have access to it. We want to feel safe and secure. We're going to go for those junk foods. We're going to go for those shows that don't necessarily feed our minds or feed us in a conscious way. Hey guys, thank you, baby. And we're actually being shown high levels of stress, which means we have high levels of cortisol, which means we are going through the fight of our bodies that want to pack on fat, right? When we already have an obese population. So we need to take time to strengthen our immune systems. We need to understand that our vibration is catching. Fear catches, right? Just as we are bodies of water who share ideas or share consciousness through breath, through being. And part of that breath and that language for you to understand is the moisture, the water, the vibrations between the two. So we can either shed and spread this energy of fear, or we can spread this energy of being aware that fear is present, being aware that we are being told a bunch of things, but when we look between our friends and our family, we can see that these types of consciousnesses aren't 100% valid, right? Science is trying to define what our reality is when science didn't create our reality. We were here before science was, which means we have an innate understanding of survival within our environment, within our way of being. Now we need to choose that, not giving away our power to the fact that something else is out there, something else is telling us what's better for worse, because our parent is not science. Our parent is not the government. They do police us, they do keep us within a moral construct, but they do not denote our physical body's level of innate understanding. However, they're attempting to dictate through extreme coercion, fear building, misallocation of resources, these spaces that are not ours as a human animal being on this planet. Now, if we're actually in a state of being, please leave that alone, son.
Money.
Yes, I know you found the money. Money from all over the world in there.
Where's the money?
That's what everyone's wondering. Where's the money? Where's the money coming from? What's the consciousness of it? How do we continue to... No, those are my lashes. Not that I wear them often, but... You want me to put them on? Here, let me see. Anyway, think for yourself. Question authority. Question science. Hegemony. Hegemony means the power something gives itself. Science is built on science. I mean, look at how slow science is to understanding what is actually healthy for us or not. Look at, I think his name was Lister. I'm not 100% anymore because I haven't been up with my research, but they laughed at him. They killed hundreds of women at childbirth, and they laughed at him and told him, you don't need, he was trying to promote, we need to wash our hands. We need to wash our hands. Okay. Now he died before the research came in that said, oh yes, in fact, we need to wash our hands, and we've killed and made all these women hemorrhage during childbirth because they would go from the morgues down beneath and studying the bodies to up in the actual clinics helping the women, whereas most women can survive a natural childbirth, but we've now opted into cesareans. And I don't even want to talk about what that means in terms of going through the veil of consciousness. That's a whole nother topic, and I'm going to leave separately for something else. But here's my thoughts, and these are the processes I'm going to go through today in terms of what I'm going to work through in the Yoni Steam, see what kind of consciousness comes to you today about understanding yourself at a deeper level, understanding society in a deeper level, and then what you can do as an individual on how to awaken ourselves, because we are part of the planet. We are not separate from the planet. So the fact that we are in an attempt to leave the planet, great. It means we're graduating, but you also have to keep your home intact so you have a place to come back to, a place that is balanced with you. And our planet is alive, which means she can get irritated, which means she can find reasons to shift and change, just like we shift and change. As within, so without. And so, anyway, thank you. Aloha. Have a beautiful day. Stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life. I love you. I love myself.